Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today it is my privilege to welcome a shamanic priestess from London, UK, Alex Vitillo. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ashutosh. So excited to be here with you, your audience. Let's see what unfolds today.
Thank you. Alex is the founder of Breathing Heart Consultancy. She's a leading shamanic priestess of wealth and well-being. So before we get to Breathing Heart Consultancy, I want to ask you, what is a shamanic priestess and what do you do?
Thank you for the question. It's a question that is asked all the time because people have heard of priestesses, people have heard of shamans, but they say, what is when you put them together? Mm-hmm. And just to simplify, it's my way of expressing my gifts. I said, I come from the financial world where I was very practical. I was in investment banking, trading derivatives. It was very, very in the money. And then I discovered my gifts, which are more of a psychic attunement and be in touch with spirit. And just combining this way of holding space for a client, it's like processing the light or giving a container to people where they feel absolutely seen, heard. And it's just like when you enter a beautiful temple, you've got that sensation, I'm at peace here, I'm calm, I'm not judged. And this is what a priestess does. It's just to process the light and to hold a container for people where you can be yourself. And then, of course, when you can be yourself, things are revealed and you can start your healing process. Amazing. And I also want to say healing is not just something woo-woo, it can be business, right? Why is your business not being the way you want? Why is your relationship not being the way you want? So this is what I call healing, but it's really how do you get to where you want to be?
Fantastic. So we'll come back to this, but now let me come back to your story. And when I was reading about you, you do write and say that you rebuilt your life after your husband. Tell me about the story and what were some of your challenges?
So my story is a story of grief, unfortunately. Like I said, I come from a very traditional corporate background, and I found love in London. I got married, I got kids, and all of a sudden my husband was diagnosed with cancer. And from then on, my life was completely flipped through. He passed away and I had 2 young children at the time. And, it really takes a toll on you, whether you lose a parent, whether you lose a child, whether you lose your spouse, your life completely gets upside down.
Correct.
And you go from being in this beautiful cocoon, your life is, you go to work, you come back, you've got your family, to what am I doing? And especially the world of, I know there are many single parents, it really is a challenge. And you say, okay, I've got to be strong for my kids, but what am I going to do? And for me at that time, continuing being in the corporate world was just too much. I thought my kids already lost a dad. And when you work in an investment bank or in financial institution, you work really long hours. And I thought, no, I want to find something where I can work from home and be with them and support them. And also I needed something different for myself.
Well said.
And if you believe in the universe, you ask questions and you say, why do I do with myself now? And you start your healing process, and then these ideas come or something it's put in front of you.
Yeah.
And that's how I started my journey of becoming a healer.
Amazing. And when did you realize that you had this gift?
I didn't.
Okay.
No, again, like I said, so I've always been very open to what I call the mystical. So when I was a kid, I was always thinking about my dreams, or I would think, can I move that object with my mind? Well, maybe other kids were just playing balls. And then it just was put in front of a course that was very working with your psychic skills. And I thought, let me try. And when I got in the first day, I thought, they were showing us how to read energies and how to do all sorts. I was thinking, how is that even possible? Of course, I cannot do that. But guess what? When you are put in that environment, then you realize I didn't come to this course by chance, and I know how to do these things. And then do you remember the small things when you were a child? And I did say this was going to happen as a child, and it happened. Or I did dream about that, and it happened. I knew something was, and then you start to remember, and then you say, okay, you know. And then you discover your family has those gifts, but it's, you know, they don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So everybody sorts of does it, but nobody talks about it. And I always say, even when you have gifts, you have to cultivate them. So train, practice, have a mentor. You cannot just, you know, just launch yourself and say, I have a gift and do nothing with it. And you got to be in integrity.
Amazing. So when you transition, Alex, from being a high-powered investment banker to being a shamanic priestess, what were some of your challenges and some of your learnings in this transition?
The main challenge, I think, it's what people sometimes say, come out of the closet, come out of the spiritual closet. Because, you know, like I say, my background is very traditional, it's Catholicism, and, you know, you behave a certain way, you wear a suit at work, you are in a certain way. And to say all of a sudden, you know what? I'm not that person anymore. I am this new person. It's a challenge. And the financial challenge, because at the beginning you're used to, I go to work, I work hard, the check comes at the end of the month, you know, the day the check comes in, you know, your day, your expenses goes out. And when you transition to being your own entrepreneur, there is no date at the end of the month, right? You got to keep on saying, where is the next check going to come from? And that takes a toll. And then we had the pandemic, you know, so you work on your own. So there are many, many challenges that comes with being an entrepreneur.
Wonderful. You also say, you know, in your consulting work that you do, that you are helping heart-centered entrepreneurs and high achievers to obtain financial freedom and leadership without getting overwhelmed.
Yes.
A lot of different things that you're doing. Help me understand each one of them. What is a heart-centered entrepreneur?
So heart-centered, I call people that, again, they might be starting in the corporate world, or they might be doing something very practical, but deep down, they've got this, it's like a fire that says, you know what, I want to make this world a better place. I want my children to grow in an environment that is supportive. I want people to feel happy, be happy. So they've got this big heart where it's not just about how do I make money at the end of the month. It's how am I really happy about what I'm doing for a better world, a better world. And some people may say that's a visionary. You got to be a high achiever, because if you're happy with mediocrity, you're not going to think about what everybody else is doing in the world. And I said, there are many ways to be that, except I think for me, the shortcut is you got to be a leader. You got to do things differently. You got to do them first. And one way to do it is by making lots of money so you can impact the world. Because it's very good to say, I'm going to be a Buddhist monk and I don't care about the money, but the world is still functioning on money. So if you want to find research, like today, I just had a request for planting more trees, and they're doing some research on trees, how trees interconnect, and it's $86,000. So where are these dollars going to come from? From people like me, from people like, you know, they want to make a better impact. And I couldn't do it if I wasn't charging clients and I wasn't teaching others how to make money.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. You also say you traverse the material and the mystical worlds. Please help me understand with an example.
Okay. So for me, the majority of people are people that are self-employed and they say, I want to do something else. I want to have my own business.
Right.
And so how do we go from the check at the end of the month, and you're probably told what to do, or you are, even on the board, but you still have some guidance to, I'm going to be completely on my own. And what do I offer the world? So when I say the practical is, okay, you got to have a bank account, you got to have an offer. Who do you want to sell it to? How are you going to structure your days? And the mystical part is you got to get that fire inside of you, but you got to need self-confidence. You're going to need to have that passion. You're going to have confidence. You're going to have those leadership skills that say, people are going to look at me and not everybody's going to like what I offer. And maybe you're traumatized by it. And therefore you say, I'm not going to do it. Or, we talk about the imposter syndrome, procrastination. There are very subconscious reasons for that. And if you don't look at the subconscious, I know a lot of people talk, you don't know about it, and nobody's going to know about it unless you look at it through a psychic lens.
But, for a lot of my viewers and listeners, help us understand what is the entire thing that you're doing, which is mystical, and how are you applying that to business?
Okay, so I'm going to give you a very, very practical example because it's happening today. So I've got a client that went from working for a big corporate. She's still working with this big corporate, but she also wants to be in the well-being sector, i.e. offering meditations, offering coaching. And so we went through the practical of, okay, got to have a bank account, got to have a limited company, got to have, what are we going to start by offering, and how much are we going to charge for it, and who are we going to advertise, why do you show up, to now this person's a little bit stuck feeling, I'm judged, I don't know if I can deliver. And so I said, for me, this is a perfect moment where I reach out to one of my tools, which is Shamanic journeying, where we go into a kind of, let's call it trance. And for me, again, to look, why are you feeling so scared of being judged? Why are you feeling so scared of really putting your offer out there? Why are you feeling so scared of going to that networking meeting? And how do we heal that, right? Because so through this shamanic journey, she's gonna get the tools. First and foremost, the reasons why is that happening. Then we're going to take the reason out and we're going to put some confidence in and some clarity. Okay, this is how you show up, this is how you talk about it, and this is how you really present yourself. But it cannot be done just by me saying you should do this and you should. It needs to be an intervention on the subconscious.
Wonderful. And this is also blending in with the coaching that you do.
Correct. So, you could see me as a business coach, the traditional business coach, but we have this intervention. So, I receive information about what happened, or I say, there's an opportunity in this group of networking. I think you should show up tomorrow. Just go and explore, or let go of this idea and focus on the other idea. So there's a lot of, you could say, coincidence, but I can pick up on what is happening on this person's life and energy field so that their business can go the way that I want to go.
And is there any element of hypnotism in this or no?
No. It's just me, if you want to say, like going into sort of trance and communing with spirit. Again, you can call it whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely.
But, if you believe in quantum physics and the energy field, then we're all connected.
Absolutely.
So you can tap into those realms and say, oh, what is happening here and there, and how do I make the best out of it?
Interesting. Let's now move to your TV show, which is Rebel into Riches. Tell me a little bit about the show.
So again, this was a title that was kind of sprang from my creativity, imagination, guidance. You may want to call it what you want to call it. And I talk about rebelling into riches because, again, there is this idea that you can only be rich if you conform into a certain type.
Correct.
And I'm saying you can be you, your unique you, and make money. So you could be that visionary. You can be offering Reiki and be a millionaire. You can be offering tarot reading and being a millionaire. You don't have to wear a suit like I was doing. You don't have to cover your tattoos if you're working in a bank, right? So, but there is that sense you got to rebel to what is society telling you to be. And you got to find, what do you want to be? And how do you express yourself? And, you know, I was told at the beginning from some, let's call them more traditional coaches, that I couldn't be on LinkedIn because I've got blue hair and nobody would take me seriously as a business coach. And I said, you know what? When I was in banking, if somebody like me walked through the door and say, I'm going to help you to become the best version of you and make more money, I would have loved that this person had blue hair, right? So we're not all fitting in a form. It's, I want to be me. I want to be me. And by me being me, I can really, you know, make money and be successful.
Correct.
And Rebel into Riches, I talk a lot about, I work with Sacred Money Archetype, which is this beautiful essence. I don't know if your audience is familiar with archetypes, right? But there are, I call them energy forces. And so by you understanding, am I a connector, for instance, somebody that likes to create networking, I'd like, yes, you are one of them. Or am I, again, maverick, somebody that just goes into venture and says, no matter what, I'm going to do it. Are you romantic? Are you looking at money like, oh, you know, the world is beautiful?
Right.
So that's going to help you understand, again, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? And how does it relate to money? So Rebel into Riches is 12 episodes available on, again, all the major platforms. That's going to help you understand who you are and how do you connect with money? What are your challenges and what are your strengths?
Amazing. My next question to you, Alex, is if I come to you as a potential client and say, Alex, help me, what is the process you follow?
So I would say, help you with what, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, that would be the first question. And I would, again, let's call it back from conversations like we're having now. I would ask you, what's going on in your life and where do you want to be and why you haven't been there so far, right? And the one thing I always say, you got to take a direction, because if you're just, sometimes, especially in the spiritual world, it's this idea that things happen for a reason and it's going to happen at the right time. And if it hasn't happened yet, it wasn't the right time, or there's something better. I say, no. What do you want? Where do you want to be? What are the main obstacles until now? And then I'm going to offer you, you know, okay, I think we're going to work together for 12 months, 9 months. I think we should meet once a month or twice a month, and we take it from there. But there's always like a happy ending, right? It's not just, I want to feel better, but I'm not sure what I want.
Well said. Well said. And my last question to you, Alex, now, and this is for the many, many people who will listen to our conversation. Based on your amazing journey and how well you have repositioned your own skill set from an investment banker to a shamanic priestess, what would you say are 3 lessons you would like our viewers and listeners to take away from our conversation?
So the first lesson, and I think it's a very, very deep one, it's to, when you feel you're really down in life, when you feel I've tried everything and you feel, oh, it works for that person, but not for me. I say, please, please, please remember, there is always many solutions, but focus on one. Focus again on knowing it is possible for me. The second one is you got to be willing to say, I don't know how. And I don't have the courage or the energy right now. But I know there is a way. And I don't know what that way is, but I know there is a way. And I'm going to do whatever it takes, because it takes courage. It's not easy and fluffy and, you know, meditate 5 minutes a day. No. But I'm going to do whatever it takes to either find out what I want to do, but get out of this rubbish period I'm in. And the third thing is you gotta be willing. Then what you gotta be open, because I said the universe always talks to you and always answer your prayers.
Yeah.
So if you say, I don't know what I want to do, I'm really not happy, let's say in my corporate job, but I don't know what I want to do. And then a friend calls you and say, oh, I'm going to this Reiki course. Do you want to come? And you never heard of Reiki. Instead of saying, I don't know what it is, start thinking and say, I said, I don't know what I want to do, but I want to change. Let me explore. Or another friend comes and says, I've been to this self-development, well, I don't know, let's say Tony Robbins thing. Do you want to come? Yes. So first of all, remember, to recap, the one thing, if you're feeling really low and there's no solution, there's always a solution. You want to really don't want it. So rather than, you can cry for 10 days saying, I'm so miserable, nothing is working. Then you get up and say, I really want to make a change. I know it's possible and I'm going to do whatever it takes. And 3, stay open to what comes up to you, a new course, a new coach, a new offer. And at first it might sound, let's say I've asked to get more money, and then somebody comes and say, invest with me and you're going to get more clients. That's the way, right? But some people think that, I've asked for more clients and boom, the clients come. No, there is a step in between. And so you got to follow that step.
Well said. Well said. Alex, on that note, and your amazing 3 pieces of advice, when you're down, there's always many solutions. You have to be willing to try them and listen to the universe, because there will be many more options. Thank you for speaking to me, talking to me about your amazing journey and how well you have transitioned from, despite all the challenges you went through. Thank you for speaking to me, and good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.